Noel was going out sad. I wanted so much better for Noel. I could not believe what I was seeing. Oh my goodness. I could not look. Welcome to La Vida Rosa. I'm your host, Pinky, and today we're going to be talking about Summer House Martha's Vineyard, Season 2, Episode 3. So if you'd like to see more, then just stay tuned, like, comment, and subscribe. Without further ado, let's get into this video. So let me start this off by saying I went back and watched Season 1 because it's only 8 episodes. I was kind of bored this weekend, and I was like, let's just have a little refresher. Jordan was just as insufferable last season, but I feel like it was overshadowed by Silas. Because Silas was getting on everybody's nerves, being a drill sergeant, trying to have house meetings every 2 seconds, like really trying to control the situation a little bit too much instead of just letting everybody have fun. And Jasmine was right up under him, trying to be this perfect Stepford housewife. And I know she got a lot of flack for that last season. I really do feel like Silas was pushing a lot of that on her. And he was the breadwinner, and he was quick to say, as soon as she gave him a little pushback, you will not have this covering as a husband. She's lived in a car before. So I kind of understand why she was catering to him a lot. But I think watching it back kind of helped her to see the error of her ways. So I'm going to have grace with her. I wish that her actual friends would have grace for her, because I don't think anything Jasmine did was purely malicious. But like I said, Jordan insufferable, Bria a complete brat. And I thought maybe she had grown a little bit, but no. This episode, she showed that nothing has changed. With all that being said, let's just get into the episode. So we pick up with Nick and his conversation with Summer and Jordan, trying to get a feel of what they meant by he was getting handsy. He asked them, well, do I make you feel uncomfortable? He wanted to make sure he wasn't being inappropriate. They made sure to clarify and say they didn't feel like he was doing it in a creep type of way. They more so felt like it was wrong because you have a girlfriend and you acting single, and don't be doing all this with me, touching all on me, and you have a girlfriend. I feel like that's mainly what it was. I'm glad he didn't come in aggressively, and they were able to just have a conversation, because he said, I never had any nefarious intent, and they are entitled to their feelings. The only thing he did say is that he wished that they would have said something in the moment. But yeah, I really do love the way that situation was handled. And on a lighter note, I saw that in one of his confessionals that he has a fade, and I was like, you still give Jiminy Cricket, but that fade kind of takes you up a couple notches. Maybe you should stick with that, because I already like the style. But he has that 80s he just takes the one on the clippers and just go all the way around. Fade it up a little bit. You a young man. So then we see Shanice on the phone with her mama. How did I know Shanice's mama was white? Because that girls gone wild mentality that she has, that woo mentality, is giving a white mama. Sorry. So she told her mom about what Summer had said about her, not being able to dress or whatever. And y'all, side note, she was not lying about having real designer, because I saw a video of this girl on TikTok, and she was just breaking down all of the clothes that they were wearing on the recent episodes. And when they pulled up what Shanice was wearing and how much it cost, I'm like,
how much did their outfit cost? This is Summer House Martha's Vineyard. Let's go. Bria's set. Top originally $188, bottoms originally $278, and she's wearing these Prada sunglasses. I have these, and they go with every outfit. Alex's confessional top, $475. Summer's green set. I have this in black. It's $45. Noel's bag, $325. And her dress, it's originally $139. It's on sale for $48 right now. Nick's hat, it's Brooks Brothers. This one's being resold for $150. Jordan's confessional dress, it's ASOS, and it's on sale for $68. The swim cover, $23. Okay, this is a vintage Chanel cardigan. I can't even find it being resold, but I will link something that's a similar style. Noel's interview dress, it's originally $258 and on sale for $86 right now. Shanice's skirt, $1,325. Her dress, originally $1,080.
What kind of job did you have before, Shanice? But anyway, the mama was upset about what Summer had said. She was going in on her, calling her jealous. Said, well, she's not like she a fashion designer. It's not like she could dress. The mama also said I probably would have knocked her out if she would have said something like that to me. I'm like, the mama a little rowdy. Shanice is very fun-loving and happy and light. She doesn't even want to have a confrontation at all. So to hear her mama say that, it was like such a big contrast in that way. At one point, Shanice was like, yeah, I'm going to be naked on the water slide. She was like, make sure you get naked in front of Alex. I was like, never in my life. Let me say this. Her antics of always wearing a bikini, always showing her tatas or lack thereof. It's like, this is not the crowd for that. You don't see anybody else here doing that. Bria might, woo, with her, but she's not actually participating in just whipping them out. And I don't know, it's just coming off as very attention seeking, and also like you can't read the room. And also it makes me wonder, was this a part of the reason why you lost your job? Because you was doing this last season too. Like, and very like unprovoked, unwarranted, just out of nowhere. So finally, Shanice has the perfect opportunity to flaunt her bikini, and she's throwing a foam party. They have a slip and slide, college party games type of vibe. Before we get into it, I'm officially going to call Amir Arnaz, like Arnaz from 101, because he is really putting on this ditzy act that I just don't remember him having last season. Yeah, I can understand you don't understand certain things when it comes to blackness. You was raised by a white woman. That makes plenty of sense. But he was acting like he couldn't spell team. That was annoying. And then speaking of the whole blackness thing, he knew what a hot comb was, which was very shocking. Like, you know what a hot comb is. But when they started talking about the black movie list, the only one he had ever seen was Love and Basketball. Now, sir, I know you didn't get a proper haircut from a black barber until you was 24, but you are a grown man now. You are in charge of what you consume. You haven't seen The Best Man. You haven't seen Juice. You haven't seen Soul Food. You haven't seen New Jack City. And I'm gonna need for you to go get that list and at least watch half, sir. You got a lot to catch up on anyway. I totally understood where Jasmine was coming from when she was debating whether or not she was going to participate in these water activities. She broke down the black girl math. If I participate in these activities today, that is going to take away from my festivities tomorrow, because I'm going to have a whole wash day. And honestly, that's why when you go on vacation and stuff like this, you need to have braids or twists, soft locks, some sort of protective style. I don't know why no woman on that cast, like, they'll have it in confessionals, but like on the actual show, they'll have their leave out with the tracks, and it's humid out there, so almost always that leave out is puffing up. Can see where your real hair ends and the other hair begins. Because it was Shanice's party, I guess she invited one of her friends named Hendrix, who was very attractive, tall, light-skinned man. Basically, she said he's off limits because he's hooked up with her friend in the past, so that left him open to all the other women. My bad. This leads me to my next point. Why is Alex the only single man on this show? I get it. Amir's in a relationship now. Nick was in a relationship last season. We didn't find out to the last minute. Why did y'all not add one or two more men that were single? Like, I'm a little bit confused. Y'all have all these single women and nobody for them to mingle with. That's the whole point of a house like this. So Hendrix was flirting pretty heavy with Noel, and Alex was in the background lurking, because Alex and Noel, they've been flirting, here and there. It's been cute, like batting up the eyes, looking up, and he's been smirking like. So as she was flirting with this other man, we do see him lurking in the background. I don't know if it was just edited that way or what, but he just was looking like kind of giving a little stank face. Noel and the guy share a cupcake, but even after that, Noel and Alex, they're having a moment in the kitchen. And why does Summer always find a convenient way to pop up when it's just them two? Anyway, it didn't work out with Hendrix. He probably was trying to do a one night stand type of thing, and she wasn't interested. So she decided to keep her focus on Alex. And even while she was in the car, she was asking Amir, and I forgot who else was in the car, asking them, was he interested? Do you think he likes me? And everybody was like, yeah, you should talk to him, girl. Go ahead. They were going grocery shopping, and she decided to buy him a vegan sandwich from the store because he's the only one that doesn't eat meat. his reaction was very Charles when Miss Netta bring him his lunch. Like, it was very flat, and he made sure to say, well, I don't like tofu, but I guess I'll eat it. I don't know. I just did not like that reaction. That's why you can't do too much with pretty boys. You cannot, okay? You have to play hard to get with them because they already have a big head, a big ego. You cannot do too much. You cannot put too much out there. That's just how they are. Regular dudes, the ones that deserve it, yeah. You got to bring them back down to earth. You got to ignore them a little bit. You got to make them come to you, okay? You got to make them jealous. You did a good job last night making them jealous. But then you threw all that work out the window when you brought him the sandwich. What was even more embarrassing, though, is that Summer was snapping her neck, trying to turn around and see the reaction. Trying to see the reaction of Alex getting this sandwich from her. And it's like, girl, let it go. Get over it. Like, at least not make it so obvious that you are still stuck on this man. So then we have Jordan and Shanice having a conversation. Once again, Shanice having this conversation about Summer with everybody but Summer, and it was getting on my last nerve. But we did learn from this conversation that Jordan said she had to cut Summer out right before they came here. And, basically Summer was making out with one of her friends in front of her apartment building, and she has one of those fancy apartments with a doorman, and the people that work at the apartment building saw everything that happened, and she just didn't like the optics and how it was making her look, so she went off on Summer about that. And I ain't gonna lie, that is embarrassing and trifling, and y'all do need to take that elsewhere. Like, girl, have some cool. So then the topic of Mariah comes up with Jasmine, Jordan, and I believe Summer. After rewatching that episode, Bria 100% escalated that fight. Bria's dog stuff being with the human towels or whatever, which is completely understandable. Do not wash my stuff with the dog stuff, right? So obviously she's going to go to Bria. That's your dog. The fact that Bria immediately started getting hype, she's always ready to pop off. She's very bratty. Like, no one can give her any sort of criticism. They had already had to check her about her dog pooping everywhere and peeing everywhere. So she was already in her feelings over that dog. So she was ready to pop off at Mariah at the slightest hint. And yes, Mariah did take the dog stuff and kind of like put it on her and kind of pushed her a little bit. But it was definitely not violent. It definitely didn't warrant her to be sent home. I feel like the reason why people were so quick to send Mariah home is because they didn't click with her because she's not as pretentious as Bria. That's what it's giving. That's what it's giving. And Jasmine felt bad because she did not have her friends back. She did not stand up for her. She took the house's side, and that really rocked their friendship to the point where she had to fix it, and she had to apologize and actively rebuild that relationship because Mariah, rightfully so, was hurt by that. So in essence, I do feel like Jasmine is trying to bring her back to this house in order to make up for that, as well as she's kind of on an island by herself. She doesn't have Silas. Everyone is kind of excluding her, so she needs backup. So, of course, she's going to bring Mariah. And don't let me forget to say this. If anybody should have been reprimanded and kicked out, it should have been Summer. Because Summer actually put her hands on Bria trying to fight her. But no, everybody's conveniently forgetting that. And even Summer is kind of like biting her tongue because she already know this could easily flip back on her. But nobody said anything about that. Nobody reprimanded her. Bria didn't see it as a big enough deal to be like she needs to get out right now. And then they bring up Phil. Phil is a completely different story, okay? Phil came in the house too hot. He was mad at Nick as if Nick actually stole his room. I don't care if you claimed it while you were on FaceTime. Unless you're actually here and put your bag down on the bed, that is not your room, okay? You should have got here on time. For him to poop in Nick's bathroom and told him he need to flush it. Was very aggressive to him about it. He was aggressive with Preston, telling him his shirt was too small for him, getting in his face. He was aggressive with Alex, standing over him, trying to check him. to the point where Amir was like, you ain't finna just come in here and bully everybody. Amir was getting ready to fight him. And even Jordan, who was trying to find some common ground with him, he even got loud and in her face. That is half the house. I feel like he was way too toxic and animated to be in a house like this, because he doesn't know how to control himself. He ain't got no couth. And on top of that, he was unapologetic about it. Jasmine said that she wants to have a house meeting about the whole thing, and everybody's like, ugh, because they have Silas PTSD from when he always wanted to call a house meeting. So she did ask the group if Bria and Shanice can bring Phil, and they let everybody know that Phil is coming anyway. He has his own house, and Bria, for some reason, was downplaying everything that happened, even though she wants everybody to acknowledge her feelings and put her first. She can't see where everybody else was coming from, even though he offended half of the house. And I don't understand why everybody always runs to her defense when she don't care about how nobody else feel. She's very self-centered, and she has a lot of narcissistic tendencies that people cater to. I don't know why they baby her so much. Amir was standing on business like, he ain't coming up in this house, okay? He acted like he was going to stand at the door ready to knock him out if he did try. And obviously, Preston, Alex, Nick, and Jordan, all the people that had a problem with him the first time, said absolutely not. It was a resounding no. Okay, so then they talk about Mariah. Preston immediately said yes, he wants her to stay, because I feel like, looking back and kind of seeing the backlash of what people had to say about it, because a lot of people did not agree with that decision to get rid of her. I think they were all okay with it, but Bria obviously felt some type of way. She stood up immediately like she was storming out, but really just went to the kitchen to pour a drink, and just was saying how she felt like nobody cared about her feelings. And it was like, okay, where was that rah-rah for Summer? Once again, like, you're all in your feelings about this, but you didn't give that much backlash to Summer. She eventually was like, nobody cares about my feelings, but it's okay if she comes. And Jasmine made sure to let her and Amir know that Mariah is coming with good intentions and she wants to squash all the beef. So, I don't know. The way oh yes, I forgot to even mention this. The way Amir joked his way out of that last season, when he is the root cause of that whole situation, and he didn't even speak up or say nothing until Mariah got kicked out. You fully are the reason why that happened. And nobody has addressed that. No one has put their foot down. They just let him joke about it. Even when he said it the first time, nobody even batted an eyelash, including Jasmine. Yeah, that was jacked up. I'm still mad about that. So later on, we see Preston, and he's really, truly upset. Like, I was shocked at how upset he was about them even considering letting Phil come back. And I just didn't realize how deep their interactions was. But when he broke it down and he was saying that he felt triggered by, him walking up in the house all aggressive, saying, you soft, if you don't drink, come down here, put your shirt on, stop being, the hypermasculinity of it all. And, it kind of triggered him of being bullied in the past for not being one of the boys because he's gay. And, he really singled him out and kind of othered him from the other men in the house. And, even when he was joking on him and telling him his shirt was too small, like, he really did pick on Preston. And so I totally understood where he was coming from. And I feel like the other people in the house could have been a little bit more sympathetic to that, especially Bria, who was supposed to be his friend. But the next scene we see, she's on the phone with Phil, and they were all downplaying it. And I hope Preston saw that and sees that's not your friend. He ends up spilling the beans that Mariah was already coming even before they had that house meeting. And so Bria feels backstabbed because she felt like Jasmine had plenty of opportunities to tell her. And I ain't gonna lie, I actually agree with Bria on that. Like, why lie about it? Just tell her straight up, Mariah's coming. What was she gonna do? You can leave if you don't like it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I do wish Jasmine could have been more honest and upfront. Later on that night, we see that Jordan had a breakdown about her hair falling out. And, she's always struggled with alopecia, but wigs used to be optional. She used to be able to wear her hair out in some capacity, and now she can't. And so, that was a real moment. You could tell because the cameras were not in her face when it happened. With this situation, she has all my sympathy with that. I ain't gonna lie. I know that's hard, especially as a Black woman, to not be able to wear your hair, especially when there's such a huge focus on hair in our community. They go to dinner, and Bria confronts Jasmine. And she asked her, was it premeditated to invite Mariah to the house? And she was like, yeah, I wanted to invite her. And then she was like, well, when did you book her ticket? And Jasmine lied and said last night, but they pulled the receipts up, and the lie detector test determined that was a lie. She actually booked it 5 days ago when they got there. Jasmine obviously got caught up in her lie, and it's like, Jasmine, you should have just been real from the jump. Why did you feel the need to lie? She ended up telling Brie, if it was a no from the house, then a flight would be canceled. It was as easy as that if she would have just said it that way from the beginning. Then they bring up Phil and how he plans to meet up Mariah when he gets here. And that riles up Preston and Jordan, basically saying, well, he's not welcome at the house. And they were just letting him know, no, he's not coming to the house, but he might be out and about and y'all might see him. So once again, Jordan had to instigate the same way she did last season with that whole Mariah situation and saying, you did not consider her feelings before you invited Mariah. And then once again, I'm going to continue to say it. What about when Summer was knocking her head in between the washer and dryer? The thing is, I don't feel like in this instance, Jordan is wrong. But you're sitting up here sticking up for Bria when she didn't consider your feelings when inviting Phil. What sense does that make? I just feel like sometimes Jordan just likes to instigate and hype up all the tension and the pandemonium in the situation. She just wants to raise her voice. She just wants to be one of the people to wag her finger and tell somebody when they're wrong, when it's not needed. And also, I feel like she has a lot of pent up emotions. Instead of dealing with that, she'll channel it and lash out on others. At this point, Summer is seeing Jasmine being ganged up on and trying to stand up for her and say, well, Jasmine did have a house meeting. And I feel like that is a good point. It's not like she just brought Mariah in, like she gave everybody a vote on it. When Summer did that, they jumped down her throat so fast. And Summer was just saying, look, y'all, it's not that deep. She was just trying to, calm the situation down. And then I don't know why Amir felt the need to instigate a conversation with Summer and Shanice at this point. I don't know why they couldn't just have a one-on-one. I guess Shanice wasn't never going to do it. She was just going to continue to whisper behind her back. Shanice told her, you knew that I lost my job. You know that I don't have money for clothes. So for you to bring up in front of everyone that I'm the worst dressed, it felt like you were targeting me on purpose. And the trust just isn't there between us anymore. And Summer tries to save face and say, well, you have the best body at the table. And it was funny because everybody was like, oh. Noel made a face like, oh. She does have a great body. Everybody starts laughing at the table. Summer was like, y'all need to stop laughing because I'm being serious. We having a serious conversation. Jordan turns around, who's laughing? And she was like, they are. I'm not talking to you. Mind you, Jordan and Summer were both on point. Period. Because Jordan, you didn't hear the other people at that table cackling. She just wanted another reason to be combative and kind of like was flipping it on her and gaslighting her like, well, why are you mad? Why are you mad? So while they're having that little exchange, Bria very rudely stood up and announced she was leaving. Bye. I don't know why people get up and chase after her when she leaves. Bye. I'm on the same page with Preston. The next time you leave, you can go all the way back to New York for all I care. Okay, I'm tired of her announcing this. Just leave. Don't nobody care. She was just mad she wasn't the center of attention no more. These people get on my nerves anyway because everybody is so emotionally charged and it's like they don't know how to regulate their emotions. So Jordan goes after Bria and Summer starts crying and talking about Jordan while she's gone, basically saying, why is it okay for Jordan to holler at everybody else, but when I raise my voice, it's a problem? Preston basically said, both of y'all go from 0 to 100 real quick. But then he starts to justify Jordan's behavior by saying, basically, we're used to it, so they've normalized her catty, mean girl behavior in the house. That's why she has this superior attitude and feels like she could check everybody, but nobody can check her because y'all don't say anything. They really do pick and choose who they call out. I don't watch the other summer house shows, but I heard that Summer don't be acting like that on them other shows with the white girls. I heard it was the exact opposite. They be talking to her crazy. And I'm just thinking like, well, why do you feel like you can come on the show with black people and go in on them and be the Regina George? Yeah, I don't like that. Anyway, they leave dinner and they go to the club. Noel was in her feelings because she saw Alex flirting with other women. All the girls go to the bathroom and she's talking about it. And Shanice was like, girl, don't you worry about him. He's an F-boy. You don't even need to be focused on him, right? I feel like she gave her the best advice out of everybody. When they all sat down together at the table, Summer gives her advice like, as the only person that's actually dated him, she tells her that you just need to put all your feelings out on the table, tell him how you feel, tell him that you like him, whatever. And I'm just sitting up here like, this girl is straight up sabotaging Noel. And Noel took the bait. How old is Noel? Because first of all, you fell for the biggest trick in the book. You know they used to talk. Why would she actually give you decent advice? And two, you actually did it? Rookie mistake. Once again, like I told you, you cannot treat a man like Alex. You can't just pour your heart out to him. Women do that all the time. You have to play hard to get with Alex. So anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. So she sat him down one-on-one, told him that she was interested in him. I don't know if you're interested in me. I don't know if you could tell, but I like you. Alex pretty much let her know that he knew. She was like, yeah, I can be a little territorial and pretty much jealous when he flirts with other women. And she was like, well, yeah, I was acting single too the other night. Girl, you are single. This is where it got really cringy, really embarrassing. And I could not believe those words were coming out of her mouth. I really hope she was just toe up drunk. You are single. You claim to think that he wasn't even aware that you liked him. So how do you jump from that to claiming him? Y'all, that was embarrassed. Like Noel was going out sad. I wanted so much better for Noel. I could not believe what I was seeing. Oh my goodness. I could not look. I'm one of those people, when something is very cringy, I have to turn it off. I have to pause it. I have to cover my eyes. Like I can't look. I was so embarrassed for her, y'all. That secondhand embarrassment was so strong. And what is it about Alex that I'm missing? Is he tall? Is he handsome? Yeah. But his whole persona is like one big facade to me. And I can kind of see straight through it, especially after watching last season. What is it about him? Is it because he's the only single guy? Because honestly, I do feel like in situations like that, when your options are limited, you do tend to set your sights on the one person that is available. Kind of like in high school. When you look back on the dudes you liked in high school, you're kind of like cringed out by that because it's like, you weren't even that cute. You weren't that fine. You weren't my type. I didn't like your personality. But you were just the best out of that little control group that we had. Yeah, girl, you should have been flirting with the other men at the club. Like, I couldn't believe she was sitting there looking like she was on the verge of tears. I was so embarrassed. Once again, how old is she? That's some early 20s mistakes right here. And Alex, rightfully so, was scared away. Because that is giving red flag. And also, he's scared because of the whole Summer situation. So obviously he's not trying to go down that same path, and you blurting out all your feelings did not help. And once again, you never lay your cards out for a man like Alex. Okay? His head big enough. Let him come to you. You already had him hook, line, and sinker flirting with that other man, right? You should have been in the club flirting and dancing and not even paying no attention to him. And that's basic game 101. We've all been silly over a man, so I'm not going to go in on her too hard or much harder than I already have, but still. So then at the end of the night, everybody's coming home. Obviously, they're drunk. Summer's hanging halfway out of the car. Mind you, Alex is in the front seat, Preston and Jordan, and somebody else was in the back seat. Jordan says, well, I know you're leaving, Summer. Summer popped back, I'm not leaving. I just need air. I was like, where did that attitude come from? Low key, I feel like she's stealing her feelings about Alex, and even being next to him, it's like bubbling up. It's something bubbling under the surface, right? And her and Jordan had got into it earlier that night. I don't know why Jordan was talking to her. riling that girl up on purpose. You can't tell me she wasn't. She loves to poke the bear and then step back like, oh, I don't know why she's going off on me. And even when Summer was trying to get out how she was feeling, Jordan was over talking her, making it worse. And it's like, Summer, I don't feel bad for you, right? Because you were in the mean girl clique, okay? And now that it's flipped on you, now that you found out that you were being Gretchen to Regina, now it's a problem. Child, I can't be on either one of their sides. But anyway, let me know what y'all feel about this review down below. Do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? I'd love to hear your opinion. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in my next one. Peace.